Good morning, Mr. Georg Schmidt and Mr. Chayatan Phromsorn, and ladies and gentlemen. Today, on behalf of GTRA, we are proud to present the online GTRA talk entitled Developing German-Thai Cooperation and Tech-Localization for Enhancing the Service Quality and Attractiveness of Railway in Thailand. The talk today will have a period of 2 hours. We have the registered participants more than 130 so far, and there will be more for the late coming registration. This talk will explore opportunities for both Thai and German industry to develop their business in the railway market in Thailand. Through joining hands during this event, industry representatives will share their experiences, insights, and ideas how to collaborate and how to develop the synergy effects to enhance the quality and attractiveness of railway services in Thailand. I myself today, Nisai Phurmurasukun, will be the MC of the event and will accompany the talk or this event until the end of the talk. All right. This is the schedule that we have. We are spending over 2 hours. We will start with the opening speech, and then 1.5 hours we will have the GTRA talk among 6 speakers, and the last 10 minutes will be the presentation of the German-Thai technological transfer activity. So this event is co-hosted by the Sirisuwannatash International Thai-German Graduate School of next page, please. This event is co-hosted by the Sirisuwannatash International Thai-German Graduate School of Engineering and the Faculty of Engineering, Nakorn University. We have been granted the technical sponsorship from National Science and Technology Development Agency, State Railways of Thailand, Siemens Mobility Limited, and Schaeffler. These organizations have been giving us the experts in the talk. May I invite Your Excellency, Mr. Georg Schmidt, the German ambassador, for giving the opening remark as the first person, please.
Thank you very much, Professor Nisai. And good morning once again, Permanent Minister of Transport, Mr. Chayatan Phromsorn. So it's good to have more than 100 people here online and to continue on this important topic, because moving around is an essential part of life. Aristotle said life is movement, and we can see these days how much it hurts people they can't move and travel. At the same time, any move needs energy, so we need to balance our needs to move and with how we do put that into practice. We all like to move, but nobody likes to be stuck in a traffic jam for hours or to be in a packed train. So one way is to just think about a much more smarter way of moving around, and we can do that. In Germany, I would say we go from shared transport to the overall concept of mobility. So in the old days, a city, just by having a railway access or having a road, that would have enough. But now we need to interconnect these things in a much smarter and better way. And a lot of thoughts about this last mile approaches, autonomous moving, intermodality and connectivity. So mobility becomes valuable service rather than just connectivity. So many people talk about Germany's energy vendor change in energy provision, but there's also, I would say, a change how we manage our transport and how we do that in a more sustainable and efficient and climate-friendly approach. And it's changing already. The used dream of most people to own their own car. Now, any of the young generation, they're very happy just to have a flexible mobility and to do car sharing. And that's quite unusual for a nation which is called like car country, and the car manufacturers have to deal with that. Now, replacing cars combustion engine with EV, that might help some of the challenges, but it doesn't reduce the challenge on mobility of urban spaces, because as long as the cars are the same, you will end up being stuck, whether you're stuck in an EV or in a normal car. So we're trying to push also e-mobility on bicycles. E-bicycles have an enormous boom, and I just went back to Germany and I could see how many people are now using e-bicycles in order to commute, people that wouldn't do that before. But we're here to talk about railways as one very, very important aspect of mobility. To us, trains are the backbone of client transport in Germany, and we invest very much in our railways. 8.5 billion euros in 2000. Last year we invested 7.6 billion euros, and we want to actually phase out short domestic flights, and we're very serious about this shift towards railways. For the first time, we invest more in rail than in road in Germany, and this means quite something for a car country, as I said before. On the European level, because it doesn't make sense to stop at the German borders, we started the Trans-Europe Express 2.0. That means a lot of sleeper countries now between Germany and our neighbors, Austria, Switzerland, and France. And the goal is to also connect all European cities, capitals by train, and where it's feasible with distance also by sleepers. Now try to imagine that you step onto a train in the evening in Bangkok and next morning you wake up, say, in Ho Chi Minh City or Singapore or Hanoi. That would be quite a change in Southeast Asia. Today's online talk, I think, picks up the idea of going beyond standard structure and thinking in a more holistic way, which I feel is very important. So how can we improve the overall attractivity of the railway system in Thailand, and what can the German-Thai cooperation do for that? One thing is very important to us. Germany, on a general level, is always a strong advocate of multilateral and internationally agreed rules. And I think this applies also to railway standards, technical standards for the railway system, which we believe should be open because it allows competition. It allows Thailand, or for our case, Germany, to choose what is best for us from who is best for us. So we were very happy to share the best practice and knowledge to continue with this in the framework of the German-Thai Railway Partnership. When I talk of sharing knowledge, one example, and we will have that later, we translated a German textbook. This will be later presented. Now, many people say, why books? Books are out. We all do everything online. But it is helpful for many students to still have a physical book in their hands and to have it as a reference. Next year in February, with the support of the German Ministry of Economic Affairs and Energy, we are planning to have a business delegation of German railway technology providers to Thailand, and hopefully this time not just virtually, but actually in person. And that would be another excellent opportunity to start a new chapter. But in the meantime, I'm very happy that you all took the time to come here and gather in front of the screens to exchange. So let us move on. Thank you very much.
Yeah, thank you very much, Mr. Georg Schmidt, for the information to share. Interestingly, the information of the progress of the development of railways in European countries. Before I invite Mr. Chayatan Phromsorn, I would like to ask you all to turn on camera so that we can, for the time's sake, we can do in between the group photos. Yeah, if you would like to share your moment with us, and I will do the group photo and post it in with the videos. Yeah, so please share your moment by turning on the camera, and during the speech, my assistant will capture all of the pictures of the participants. Yeah. Please allow me to invite Mr. Chayatan Phromsorn, Permanent Secretary of Ministry of Transport, for giving the opening remarks. Please.
Okay, thank you. Excellencies, Mr. Georg Schmidt, German Ambassador to Thailand, Professor Dr. Nisai Phungwe Lodskul, Dean of the Central International Thai-German Graduate School of Engineering, and interim chairman of German Thai Railway Association. Dr. Bunchai Sampetnga, Faculty of Engineering, Chulalongkorn University. Distinguished guests, all speakers, ladies and gentlemen, good morning. It's my great honor to be assigned by Minister of Transport to deliver an opening remark on his behalf for the online GTRA talk on the topic of developing German-Thai cooperation and Tech-Localization for enhancing the service quality and the attractiveness of railways in Thailand. Under the joint declarations of intent (JDI) on the further development of the cooperation in the field of railways between the Ministry of Transport, Kingdom of Thailand, and the Federal Ministry of Transport and Digital Infrastructure of Federal Republic of Germany today. As you may know, the Thai government, through the Ministry of Transport, has planned a network of transport routes and development infrastructure to serve the transportation needs of people in all sectors. In particular, the railway system, which requires specialized experts to develop advanced and environmental friendly technologies. Currently, there are a number of the development projects of the mass transit system in Bangkok and its vicinity, and the development of public transportation in large cities in various regions of Thailand in order to enhance the quality of life of people, to offer more transport options, and to encourage the use of public transportation in order to relieve the problem that is facing, such as the traffic congestion in the city area in a sustainable way. In addition, the Ministry of Transport has pushed forward the nationwide dual track railway projects, namely the dual track route in urgent phase of 993 kilometers, the dual track in the phase 2, about 1,483 kilometers, and including the new railway route in the northern of Thailand and in the northeastern of Thailand is about 680 kilometers, which will be the important step in developing the trail transport to be the major transport network of the country. In reducing the transportation cost, and will be a mechanism to enhance Thailand's competitiveness. Moreover, there would be another project study, so-called the MR-MAP project, which is for integrating the railway and motorway in the same corridor. This definitely will enhance the network quality of the freight and cargo routes for higher efficiency as a whole. The result of the project will be is expected to be obtained at the end of this year. For the development of the high-speed railway project, there are two ongoing railway construction projects. First, the northeastern line from Bangkok to Nong Khai province for connecting to Lao PDR and the People Republic of China in the north of Thailand. In order to promote rail transport and support the regional development. Secondly, a construction project of the high-speed rail link between 3 airports from Bangkok to eastern part of Thailand, from Don Mueang Airport, Suvarnabhumi Airport, and the Utapao Airport. It's running for simulating the economy of EEC area and for facilitating travel between domestic and international airports. From the aforementioned mission and goals of the Ministry of Transport, the seeking of collaboration with railway technology leaders such as Germany for sharing knowledge and lesson learned of success will play an important role in the development of Thailand railways. Finally, I wish this online talk will be an important occasion to enhance the railway business, to strengthen the rail industry, and the cooperation between Thailand and Germany continuously in the future. Now I would like to declare the open of GTRA talk and wish the success of the event today. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Mr. Chayatan Phromsorn, for your information shared about the projects undergoing in Thailand. We wish that our GTRA activities could be one supporting mechanism to help Ministry of Transport to develop the Thailand's railway system to reach the mentioned goals. As the presence of both honorary guests, Mr. Georg Schmidt and Mr. Chayatan Phromsorn, this is clear evidence that the strong intention and the sincerity on the governmental levels are there to boost the cooperation between two countries. And it is now laying on our hands in the private sectors and also educational sectors to spread this intention and spread the activities to support this intention. Please allow me to show our appreciation to both honorary guests to being here, and thank you very much both Mr. Georg Schmidt and Mr. Chayatan Phromsorn for being here today. Thank you very much. So for the time's sake, I would like to jump right away to the next session. Let us start with the first session of GTRA talk. So for the first session, we have the talk on the topic development, German-Thai cooperation and Tech-Localization for enhancing the service quality and attractiveness of railway in Thailand. We have 6 speakers. Please allow me to introduce shortly the 6 speakers. Starting with Mr. Nakorn Chantasorn, the former governor of State Railway of Thailand, and he's now serving as advisor at NSTDA. Mr. Nakorn, could you say something, please, so that your camera appears, please? Please turn on your microphone, please.
Now? Hello?
Yeah. Hello? Yeah.
Good morning. Good morning, everyone. And I'm very glad to join this webinar. Thank you very much.
Yeah. For the second person, Mr. Watcharachan Sirisuwannatash, Chief Mechanical Engineer, Rolling Stock of State Railway of Thailand.
Good morning, everybody. I'm glad to join this webinar. Thank you.
The third person, Mr. Georg Wolff, Vice President and Chair of Working Group Rail and Road Infrastructure from the European Association for Business and Commerce, please.
Sadikap. Nice to meet you all here this morning. Thank you for invitation.
The fourth person, Mr. Tomasz Mazur, CEO Siemens Mobility Limited, but he will join us later because he is engaged by other important conference.
Dr. Isai,
Yeah,
I could manage to be here.
He is already there.
Yes.
Finished
My
his,
appointment finished on time. Yeah.
I know. All right. So thank you very much. Mr. Tomasz
I'm
Mazur
happy
is
also
there.
to join and contribute to this event today. Thank you very much.
Yeah. The fifth person, Mr. Rosocha, Vice President and Head of Customer Services, Siemens Mobility Limited. Mr. Rosocha, please.
Sawadee everybody. Very good to be part of this event today and looking forward to bring also the insight from the supplier and the service provider. Thank you.
Yeah. The sixth person, Mr. Watcharachan, Head of Sales, Industry, ACA, and Thailand from Scheffler.
Sawadee. Good morning, everyone. Thank you very much. I'm very pleased to be here today.
Yeah. Me, myself, Nisai Phummulasukun, will serve you as the moderator of this talk. Without further time ado, we will jump to the first question. Yeah? In this talk, we will have three major questions, which all speakers will share their answers and experiences and discussion on this. And in the final round, we will have the open discussion from the questions from the participants. Yeah. For the participants, if you would like to express your opinion or ask some questions or raise a point for further discussion, please type in Q&A. On the bottom right, there are a button of Q&A. You can click on it and you are free to type anything in, and my co-host assistant will screen and give me the selected topics to be discussed in the Q&A round. Yeah, please feel free to type anything or express your opinion or raise discussion points. So let us go to the next question. The first question. The first question for the first round, starting with how could the German-Thai cooperation enhance service quality and attractiveness of railway in Thailand, including best practice examples? I would like to go in series as I have introduced the speakers. Let us start with Mr. Nakorn, please.
Yes, thank you, Dr. Nisai. I would like to remind you that Thai-German cooperation has been very long in the past, since 1890, when the King Rama V established the railway department in Thailand, and he was Mr. Karl Bethke was the first permanent secretary of the railway department of Thailand. So I just want to remind you about that. I want to, due to the time limitation, I just want to overview about what was my experience during my almost 40 years with SRT. And you may know that SRT is a government organization, and still today, the government organization. So most of the cooperation between SRT and German might be a little bit not all the commercial issue, but it comprises a different kind of cooperation, which I would like to overview what I have been working with, and then Dr. Nisai may pick up on the following question what I have been involved. The first cooperation project which I was involved is the UNSCAP Northern Line route realignment study. This this project come under the UNSCAP and German government financing. The second one was the study on the Northern Line electrification that was in 1982-83. It's also come under the SCAP assistance under the German financing. The third one was in 1984, the air brake conversion project, which is actually this is the international bidding, and the German firm Knorr-Bremse was the successful bidder, and I was involved with this project right from the beginning, the project appraisal through the project implementation. And I would like to tell you that this is quite a successful project because all the train braking in Thailand is now adopt the Knorr-Bremse. And I understand that because we adopt UIC Knorr-Bremse brake system, all railways in the region follow us by adopting this UIC system and also Knorr-Bremse brake system. The next one was the construction of airport railing, and this is also the international bidding, but different from the air brake because the air brake conversion project, the financing part comes from German government, but for this air brake, for this airport link project, it come under Thai government financing, and the successful bidder was Bitgrim Thailand, but the technical supplier was Siemens. And for this project, I have been a project manager for almost a year, right from the beginning until about 88% of the completion of the project. When they start trial run, then I moved to another office. The other program which I would like to touch upon is the SRT Efficiency Enhancement Program. Is about 1994-95, and this is a very huge program covering all SRT activity, marketing, traffic, and engineering. It should have been a very successful project, but unfortunately, to my opinion, it's not quite successful because of some internal problem, which we may discuss later on.
Mr. Nakorn, for the time's sake, I have to cut the first question so short like this, yeah. But I have heard that the major two projects that you mentioned, air brake conversion projects and construction of airport railings, are the best example for this question. I have heard the keyword standardization, right? And this will be the point that we will discuss further.
Okay.
There are so very interesting keywords: standardization, efficiency enhancement. I think there are some points that we can discuss in the next question of examples or supporting mechanism. Yeah? I have to cut it short because there are other speakers as well. Thank you very much, Mr. Nakorn.
Okay. Thank you.
So for the same question, I would convey the questions to Mr. Watcharachan as a second person to give some examples of German-Thai cooperation so far, yeah, that he has experience and what kind of success that he have. Yeah, please, Mr. Watcharachan.
Okay, good morning again. Actually, my first experience of working with German engineer was back in 1986 when SRT ordered the Henschel shunting locomotive. That is quite success project, but unfortunately nowadays Henschel is no longer in the business. they may taken over by Tetran and Bombardier later, so and so. In my experience with the German technology, I believe German company deliver the world-class product and service. In terms of quality, I think they can rely on international standard. For example, the LAMS system, which is the reliability, availability, maintainability, and safety. But I would like to add one more, that for the German product, they always have durability as well, not only the LAMS. So the subsequent project that I have experienced together with Nakorn is the air brake conversion project during the implementation. And then later, I jumped to as a project engineer in the airport railing project. I believe that I would like to recall you that the metro project in Thailand or in Bangkok was first supplied and implemented by the Siemens company, the German company. That I think is one of the good example. And later, the government have so many metro projects, like the Blue Line, the second one, and then the airport building together. That I think show the enhanced cooperation between Thailand and Germany in terms of the railway technology by convincing the Thai government to implement more metro project in Bangkok. But not only the project itself, nowadays the current project that I have involved is the Red Line project. Indirectly, we use some German machinery in the depot workshop equipment, like the one that we always use this product. For example, like the underfloor wheellet, the lifting jack, the bogie exchange system, wheel press machine, just name a few. So based on this, I think we have strong cooperation in the past and up to the present with the German technology. And I believe that this cooperation will continue and have a successful cooperation in the future. That is the end of my first comment. Thank you.
Yeah, again, I hear two keywords. Yeah, the standardization. Yeah, and also enhancing quality in terms of according to ranks. Yeah, reliability, availability. Well, what is abbreviated for IMMS, right?
Yeah.
Reliability, availability, maintenance,
and safety.
And safety. Sorry, sir. Sorry. We have so many experts who can help me out. All right. Yeah. We can see that cooperating with German companies can help developing technological advancement and also improve our services. So the next person would be, of course, Mr. Wolff is there. The third person. Could you share the answers for these questions, please?
Sure. I prepared a slide. Maybe we can have a look.
Yeah. Yeah, and we can go to the next slide, please.
Yeah, so I'm from the European Chamber of Commerce, the EABC, and we are one of the founding members of the GTRA, and we think this is a very, very useful agreement. I just want to point out a little bit the framework. So Germany's first railway was built in 1835. And it's interesting, it already had the standard gauge of today with 1.435 meter, but the track length was only 10 kilometer. Today, Germany's railway network has a length of 38,400 kilometer. So to have the relation, Thailand is approaching to have more than 3,000 kilometer, yes? So maybe something like 10%. And the Deutsche Bahn trains, they cover 1 billion kilometer per year. Yes. So this connection with Germany can bring quality and reliability from Germany to Thailand. So what does it mean for the passenger? It means availability means punctuality. Yes, so there's always a lot of improvement possible in this point, because when you have punctuality of a train, it's a lot of work behind the scene. Yes, so the best practice can be seen here in Thailand at the BTS, where we have a German product and a German service, and we have a very good reliability, availability. We have a safety, a very good experience. We can benefit here in Thailand from this huge wealth of experience and intensive research and developing by the German companies and universities. It's incredible how much progress the technology made in the last decades. You know, I'm now since more than 40 years in this business. So if you compare the picture on the right, you see the first train. On the left, you see a train from today. So we have to update technology, and very important, I think, for Thailand, we have to focus not only on the investment costs of a railway system, but we have to look to the total cost. We have to take into account operational costs, and we have to upgrade our procurement systems. And it's very good that Thailand already changed the procurement laws, so it's allowed to take into account also the operational costs on the long term. And if you look to the details of the German technology, you will find today a lot of electronics, a lot of sensors, and you know, smart technology where you can reduce the maintenance times and so on. So a main point, of course, is then in the next question, as Kunisa explained, with standardization. Okay, thank you. Nisa, you are muted.
Oh, sorry. Yeah. I have seen the key point, as Watcharachan has mentioned before. Yeah, many people have forgotten that let's say good experience of good quality of German product is the service that we have got from BTS SkyTrain over 20 years. Yeah, this is quite clear evidence that from the starting point, Mr. Georg confirmed here that the first initial projects of BTS, the first SkyTrain of Thailand, has been accomplished by German-Thai collaborations. Yeah, and it's still there. Yeah, it's still there, and people have, let's say, have used this service with high good quality. Yeah, so it's the thing that we have seen. So jump to the next speakers. Mr. Mazur, please.
Dr. Lisray, I could not see the slides. Can you show our slides, please?
Yeah.
Maybe my visualization is not correct.
Oh,
if you can see Siemens slides. Are they visible now?
Now we see it.
Yeah, we see it. We see it.
Okay, then I cannot see because you mentioned a very important topic, service. You mentioned the past. I would ask first my colleague Armin Rosocha, who is heading our services here in Thailand, Asia Pacific, to spend few words, but using those slides, we will come later on to the most important topics of the collaboration between the German and Thai railways. Talking about what is important from our perspective, but if Armin can start, please.
Okay, thank you, and good morning again from my side. We see this slide shows our mega trend at the moment, and if you hear the news from Germany with the flooding in the western part, in the south part of Germany, more than 100 people dead, this is really a challenge which we all have to go together. And this is not looking only at specific parts, it's an integration of power generation in a carbon neutral way in the transmission storage, which also affect our railways, how we can supply the right amount of power when we use it and when we not use it to store it, and also utilize the transport means in the right way. Means if you look at our cars, maybe we use it less than 10% if we are honest to ourselves, driving to work, sitting in the office, and then evening come back. That is not economic. So this is where we need to start looking at changing here on the big picture. Next slide, please. Yeah. Okay, next slide, please. And if you look here, I think the three colleagues has mentioned this already. We have good systems here implemented in Thailand. BTS SkyTrain, we shall not forget the BEM, the metro system, the airport railing in a Thai-German cooperation. But if we look more on the surface, we need to integrate this more in between the systems. So looking at the integrated transport system in the future, I know there are difficulties, but I think we can learn from experience made in Germany to have this integrated public transport system. So it doesn't matter if you take the train, if you take the ferry, if you take the bus, it's one ticket system, it is one cost if you go from A to point B, and this is making the system more attractive for the passengers and having very efficient transfer stations with very short ways where the passenger even from platform to platform can change in between the system. I think this is a big challenge and to really we will not get the cars out and nobody want that. Maybe electric, but make it better use, have it used for the last mile. If you come out from the station, that there is a bus terminal where you can immediately change to the bus. Maybe in the future, electric bicycles, scooters for the last mile to make it really from house to house very attractive for the passengers. And the big challenge is not to have a competition between car, rail, and all the systems, but to really integrate them. And finally, for the big distance, for the backbones to bring more people from the road to the train. I think this is very important. Yeah. And to have apps, you see on the top, very, especially young generation, but also affecting us to go with the time, to have one application where you can say, I want to go point A to point B, and it will give you different scenarios, different options you can choose how to get there. Yeah. Thank you. For the next slide, please. Yeah, and this is a challenge for this interconnectivity, interoperability, smart, safe, sustainable, seamless. And I think the standardization, the colleagues mentioned it already in their talk before. I think this will make the policy to really implement this here in Thailand, to set the right policy, to have standards and to work together really to come to an integrated public transport system. Thank you.
All right, this is the expectations which can offer services and new products and also technological advancement for improving Thai railway system. Mr. Mazur, would you like to add something, or this will be your round?
Yes, I want only to add that if we look on the last slides, please. This is not what Armin said. It is important just to emphasize and also to say Ministry of Transport, with all the authorities belonging to State Rail of Thailand, MRT, and with the Railway Department. If you look on the challenges of the interconnectivity, Thailand has incredible, let's say, favorite position, geopolitical position in Asia Pacific, because it's in the middle of respective locations where everybody has to pass Thailand. That means interconnectivity is not only for Thailand with neighborhood country, but it's the chance for Thailand. And if you look one of the stories where EABC or the German Thai Railway Association have been working for with all the authorities to secure that this collaboration bring advantages for Thailand, because we are working for Thailand, not the German collaboration or European collaboration is to support Thailand. And I have to confess, these challenges of the interconnectivity has brought very positive results. If you look at on the implemented international railway standards already, signaling European rail traffic management system is already implemented. SRT is using for the fleet-wide implementation everywhere. This secure that Thailand will be connected to Myanmar, Cambodia, Malaysia, everywhere, and also with China. We can talk later on about this topic. This is a part where we need to support, where learning is not needed from zero. Just utilize that's what is given and secure the best for Thailand. The best for Thailand to be economically strong and be connected with the rest of the world. Thank you.
Yeah, Mr. Mazur has pointed out very clearly about our advantages, geological location, yeah, and according to that, we have to have interconnectivity. And for interconnectivity, we need some standardized signaling, standardized equipment in order to bridge the railways of different countries together. This will be the point that we will discuss later. Thank you very much, Mr. Mazur. So let me proceed to the next speaker, Mr. Pashalak, please. Could you share us the answer for the first question, giving us some examples of the collaboration, please?
Good morning, distinguished guests. Okay, first of all, I would like to really share the overview of Chartler a little bit, because then we can better understand how a Chartler is and where are we in terms of the rail sectors in terms of jigsaw, how can we contribute. Chartlers, we are German companies, with a size of 12.6 billion, more than 19 patents registered. We have 75 plants around the globe and 20 R&D centers, more than almost 84,000 employees. Okay, please, next slide.
Next slide, please.
Oops, okay, there's some font mixing, but anyway, we are split into three unique divisions: automotive, OEMs, automotive technologies, and also automotive aftermarkets. And another divisions that we are in that related to the sectors on the general industry is the industrial divisions. We have a headquarters back in Germany, split in operations in the 4 large regions. And you can see in the middle that we are focusing on the 8 focus sectors: wind, raw material, aerospace, blah, blah, blah. And then one of them is the key focus, which is the rail system. In the size of business that we are doing is about 3.2 billion, with the 24 plants dedicated to the industrials. The product that we made is all around bearings and their surrounding system, right? For related anything rotated for the rails, including the Taros bearings that we produce. So we are specialized in those bearings. Next slide, please. Okay, as you can see that, we are the specialized and actually technology leaders on the bearings. We are doing the rotating equipment. So we're part of the jigsaws that we can have actually working with all the key suppliers or the system-wide and also the policy makers that we can actually, how can we contribute? We also now to enhance that the technology that we have, we introduced industrial 4.0 in terms of new technologies, communication on the cloud, on several applications, wind turbine machine tools, drive trains, and now also that rail way 4.0 that focus on some key intelligent sensors, AIs, to provide a predictive maintenance, automate rolling bearings diagnose, and also be able to calculate the remaining useful life of grease. Okay, I think Sharpler has been in Thailand for many years, and we have been working in collaborations with many parties that I will later on talking into in the next sessions. But as in terms of keywords that I would like to share with you, that we are the leaders and expertise that we have in terms of bearings, in terms of vibration and condition monitorings on the rotating machines, and it's also in terms of bearing reconditions that we can adapt it to support the local need. I think with I'm Thai. I'm very proud of be representing Germany's, and also we're glad to see that the Thais and Germany's have a strong collaboration and tight the technical vertical exchange in terms of technical technology transfers trainings that we have been working with most of the parties that sit in these rooms now that I share later on in the next sessions. Okay, I think that's at least we will see the quick snapshot of Sharplers and the way that we expertise that.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Basharat. Sharpler is a kind of company who are involving of supporting parts, maybe on the commissioning levels or operational levels for maintenance and so on. So for the first round, next question, please. Next slide. In the first question, we have laid the groundworks or ground information. What kind of collaborations are there or have been done, or possible cooperations? What are they? Yeah. And now for the second questions, we will explore what kind of mechanisms, such as technology transfer, technology localization, and standardization will be helpful for the progress of railway services. Yeah, based on the information that we all have obtained from the first question, that we be seeking for the supporting mechanism which can help those collaborations to be successful. So I would go another way in the same round. Yeah. Let us start with Mr. Nakorn again. Yeah, please. Nakorn. Mr. Nakorn, are you there? Mr. Nakorn, are you there?
Yes. Sorry. Can you hear me now?
Yeah, please.
Okay. Your second question concerned the service quality and the technology transfer and technology localization. I just want to talk about my experience that the technology collaboration may come through the training. For the example, I have been talking earlier. Project like efficiency enhancement program and so on is a kind of technology enhancement by training. Another technology enhancement is by OJT on the job training. And I think one example is the air brake project where I and my colleague have been trained in Germany for a few months, and after coming back, I start the training program for the SRT staff during and between the project implementation. So air brake conversion project is one of the successful example of technology development for SRT, and I believe that if I had not done that air brake conversion, if we still use vacuum brake system, our train might be not quite as efficient as it is today. One thing I would like to talk about is the project management program, the research program, which me and Dr. Nisai share the committee. This is another kind of technology development that we want to do the research together with the private company, so that after the research has been carried out, the partner private company who share the fund for the research fund can go directly to the market. So this is what I think and my experience with technology, railway technology development in Thailand. Thank you very much.
Yeah, thank you very much, Mr. Nakorn. Mr. Nakorn just mentioned about the supporting mechanism of the funding to the private sectors, yeah, which I am also involving. This is called PMUC. That is a kind of funding program for private sectors, companies, Thai companies. Yeah, you could join hands with international companies to enhance their competitiveness by research or development of technologies. Yeah, this is really interesting and could be the possible platform that the Thai companies who are attending today, yeah, can join hands with German partners and go there, submit proposal to ask for projects in the size of $1 million or even $2 million to implement railways projects, something like that. Yeah, it could be possible. Yeah, this I could emphasize or mention or give information later about this. But this is one thing that could be possible to support the collaboration. Thank you, Mr. Nakorn. Yeah. Then we jump to Mr. Watcharachan talking about the supporting mechanism. Please, Mr. Watcharachan.
Yes. This picture I took it from the Department of Rail Transport. I would like to thank you for sharing this information. This is the plan of the government in order to have the local content in the future. Let's say first priority, we will focus on the freight wagon and the passenger car, which is non-power bogie. So it will come up in a stage or in a phases from 60% until 100% local content. That means all the parts and assembly will be done in Thailand. The second will be focused on the power passenger car and maybe DMU. So it also starts in phases from 40% up until 100% in the future. And the last one, which is more difficult from my point of view, is the locomotive. That it takes longer time to implement for this one because it consists of high technology, etc. So my point is the government already have plan to have a local content as the other country. In my view, I think the local content is maybe driven by two scenarios. First scenario is the market driven, which is the company would like to invest factory or manufacturing plant in local country in order to enhance their competitiveness. For example, I give you example. The Italian Thai development company already start localization on the freight car project that they buy some bogie from the foreign country, but they assemble and fabricate the chassis and the mainframe by themselves, and testing by using the third party like a research and research institute in Thailand to doing as like a independent checking engineer. The second scenario is, I think, is driven by the regulator or regulation of the country. As we have seen the experience like in USA, where they have the Buy America Act, that the company that they will make a rolling stock or sell rolling stock in US have to make their plant or local content at least certain percent, let's say 70% have to be local content in USA and etc. Like in Korea or in China, when they also implement the localization by using the enforce the localization regulation. I would like to move on for the technology transfer. In my experience, I have seen most of the railway project, the technology transfer is done by training and also the maintenance training, on the job training of the maintenance. But I would like to have, I think we should have more. My battery is out, I have to switch on. Okay, sorry. I think I would like to see more technology transfer on the R&D, research and development, and on the design phase and manufacturing. That if the localization plan have been taking place, I would like to see more of these activity taking place in the future, because not only the localization plan, the government already enforce some regulation which is given by the Comptroller General's Department under the Ministry of Finance, that just recently, just this year, they issued the regulation that require the made in Thailand, let's say made in Thailand, for a certain amount of percentage of local content. And also they would like to enhance the competitiveness of the SME that require the government entity to purchase up to, let's say, 30% of SME, Thai SME product, according to each government agency. That regulation also will bring together, I think, for the future of SRT project. Let me add some more for the field project that we would like to implement for localization. First project may be the around 965 freight wagon project, which is now already approved by the SRT Railway Board already, now under the consideration of the Ministry of Transport. And the second project, the upcoming one, will be for the diesel rail car. This one consists of two phases. First phase is around 184 DMU, and the second phase is around 216 DMU. This DMU also will use the localization project as well, but we are still consider this DMU in order. We are not going to use the conventional DMU as a hydraulic diesel multiple unit. We are talking about like maybe the battery DMU or maybe the hybrid DMU. So I think this one, this technology is now, I think, is ongoing research and development nowadays in European countries. So it's maybe for the the climate change, the environmental effect. This kind of technology may be useful for the future railway in Thailand. That is the end of my second comment. Thank you, Professor Nisai.
Yeah, thank you very much. Yeah, we have the actual person in SRT to give the hints what kind of product should be purchased now. Yeah, it's just like a hint for the directions how we develop the local content and so on. But emphasize to this content. Yeah, the emphasis of this content is that even though we would like to do local content, but we still need technological transfer, right, Mr. Watcharachan? Your message is local content should be brought up with technological transfer, right?
Right.
Yeah. Okay. So then I proceed to the next question, to the next speaker, Mr. Georg, for answering this question.
Yeah, thank you very much. Can I see my slide? Yes. You know, that was a very interesting contribution from Watcharachan. And I would like to concentrate a little bit on the standardization. You know, a standard is nothing else than a concentrated know-how. And in the past, we had a lot of the German standards, but then within the European Union, this had been transferred to European standards. And you have to know that European standards are not the standards of the European Union, but the European standard system has 34 nations. You see it here on this small map of Europe and vicinities. You see also countries like Turkey or Switzerland and so on are members of the European Standard Organization. And the complete network length of the railway in those countries is 230,000 kilometers. So this know-how, it's a concentrated know-how of so many nations with different climates and different requirements from the north to the south, for example. And that's the way why the European standards are made in a way that you always can introduce national requirements. That's a big difference to national standards like some from the USA or from Japan or from China, which are always, of course, concentrating just on their own country and nation. And of course, as we already heard before, one of the basic and most important standards for the railway systems, and we talk here about more the system, how to say, the operational system, the rolling stock and the track and so on, are the RAMS standard, because the RAMS is a framework for this reliability and availability, which is bringing the quality for the passenger, and only if your trains are running punctual, the people will really use them in everyday life. And in the background, of course, we have the maintainability and the safety. And so the RAMS is looking to the entire life cycle of a railway system. Yes, I printed here on the slide. You don't have to make every mistake yourself. You can learn from others, and this is what the standards are giving you the possibility. So I also would like to mention two things. The one is that the GTRA in the organization with the German government can easily make for Thailand the contact to the German ministry's railway department, which is called Eisenbahnbundesamt, and they are very open-minded to get the cooperation with the Ministry of Transport in telling them how their organization is working. This is very important also for approvals. We also have to look a little bit to the structural things. We have to set up the railway systems. We also need the track, we need the viaducts, the bridges, and here Thailand has to improve a lot in terms of maintenance, inspection, and approvals, because today we have a system where for every project, like it was mentioned, the new double track projects, every product in the structure needs approval from the project engineers, but they mostly are not expert on every field. It's not possible. So it would be very good if Thailand can take over the system of federal approvals from the Ministry of Transport. This is the point where the GTRA also can be helpful, even if today you heard mostly about the rolling stock. Okay, that's it.
Yeah, thank you very much, Mr. Wolff. Really clearly, a strong message. Standardization of RAMs, reliability, availability, maintainability, and safety. So it's a key, because these standards has been developed through the mistakes, and we don't have to repeat the mistakes again. So just a shortcut to improve our service quality of railways. This is the thing that Mr. Georg Wolff would like to convey to everyone here.
And may I also add that we had made a lot of research, and already before the foundation start of the GTRA with the German-Thai Railway Partnership, we had a very good working groups, yes. and we had a lot of documentation. And the problem then was, I mean, the former minister, Nakorn, he was very open to these ramps, for example. But the problem was then the long way to really implement it, you know, because that has to go from the top down to every level, yes. And there you need a lot of, as the Watcharachan said, you need a lot of training and a lot of seminars and so on to bring this knowledge to the people. Okay.
Thank you very much. And let us proceed to Mr. Mazur and perhaps together with Mr. Rosocha, because they come from the same company. All right?
Yes. Thank you very much. I don't want to repeat my honorable other speakers, because all what was said is very important. Just let me take only one point to the international standards. Why it is important. It's not only to repeat mistakes of others. The biggest mistakes we in Europe have made it, or let's say it's not mistake, this was historical development. Europe was not united in terms of technology. We want to be connected together, but we had different standards. That means passing Europe with a train. Either you have to change the train, locomotive, or change the complete setup. Today, Europe is united. You can run with the same system to entire Europe. Why? Because there is one standard for signaling, for power supply, or power supply not, unfortunately not, because it is historically installed. It's difficult, but at least locomotives are running with many systems. And what is important in this regard is not only that this interconnectivity is secured by the same standards with other countries, but also, that's the topic to the mistake which Europeans have made or have worked a long time to resolve is, if you have specific standard, which is not international, it's not a common, you are delivered to the monopoly supplier, because usually international suppliers, local suppliers, all will work on the international standard basis. If somebody take a standard which is really exotic in the world, then this only supplier is able to provide. There is obsolescence, there is delivery only by one or two suppliers, and there is no confidence of interconnectivity. That means this is an important issue that Thailand need to look from this perspective, just to be best positioned in the world. But now coming to the localization, maybe a different perspective. You know, in our collaboration together, because German and Thai, is very often theoretical, because we are meeting, we have no funding for our activities, we have to fund ourselves, which is going well. We have many seminars with activities, but to be pragmatic, we need a project. And how to have a project? How to transfer the knowledge to Thailand without having projects. And this localization is one of the practical means of giving Thailand new technology, knowledge, and in the way that this is sustainable. Where Watcharachan told about it, transfer of technology in terms of maintenance knowledge, operation knowledge, which was done. And all the projects which was mentioned by Watcharachan, by Armin, Rosocha, showing it makes sense. Today, there are many local experts which were trained during this project execution. And today, those experts, even today, we will talk later about that, going from Thailand, they export the knowledge, the expertise to other countries as a one proof of successful collaboration. But it's not enough. We have to continue. Now about the topic to localize also manufacturing and assembly. I don't know if you remember, there was BTS has extended 3-car to 4-car trains, and that time there was decision because one of the German factory was full, and we decided that time to partially assembly those cars in Thailand. And these cars, ladies and gentlemen, were assembled by Thai people, only with few supervisors from Europe. And can you imagine the results? These cars were assembly double faster than the assembly in Europe. That means instead to spend per car 2 weeks, we spend only 1 week per car. The Thai people are very skilled. They have fine motoric. They are highly motivated. They are able to work in different schemes as Europeans are really not able. There's a lot of advantage which we learned by that, and we learned also that our Thai experts are very keen to learn, very motivated, and finally are able to provide high quality with the high standards. But what is very important by the localization in the future? This is a framework which is needed. Watcharachan talk about that. There is tenders. Tenders, of course, especially public tenders, also private tenders have to, of course, request content, local content. With that one, it's difficult to convince. Okay, as a one, it must be pragmatic. Second, there must be economy of scale. If there's no economy of scale, because this investment is mostly done by local manufacturers, local partners. So second, a realistic time frame. Usually localization takes more time than the delivering of the ready products, because the local investors has to prepare himself for that. Also, larger number of trains, for example, and more time to deliver. A realistic budget, also here, if there is a support for local content, that means secure that later on it is produced in Thailand, and taxes, also knowledge, as well as let's say work in Thailand. So let's say securing that is coverage by local people. We need also realistic budget. There is kind of investment required. This will be not automatically cheaper than to order elsewhere. And last but not least, standards. This framework we will be willing to support together in this collaboration. But this is the foundation which is needed to support this transition to localization.
It is really clear message. Standardization is to be wisely selected. Otherwise, we be pushed to monopoly. But if you choose the correct standards, this will help a lot for developing the service quality. And you have mentioned about the potentials of developing local contents together, join hands with the local enterprises to deliver things. This is still open doors, right? This is not totally closed, like to say there is no interest at all for European countries to do local contents.
Maybe I can add. We have signed with 2 potential partners, localization for locomotives as well for tram, light rail. And why it doesn't work finally? Because all this topic what I mentioned, economy of skills, budget, everything is finally is working adverse. As the local entrepreneurs who want to invest, who want to deliver, who want to produce in Thailand, finally, from economic perspective, making decision not to proceed for the time being. I believe there is much more support required.
I think it is good that these points have been mentioned here, so that everyone is aware what is the hindrance or what is the challenge that we have to overcome if we would like to go through this localization aspect. Thank you very much. Mr. Rosocha, do you have something to add on these topics, please?
Maybe just to add an example here from the region where that was working very successful. That was the Klang Valley project in Kuala Lumpur, where there was a request for local content. Siemens supplied 58 4-car trains, economy of scale again. So it's not 10 trains, it's 58 4-car trains. And there was a requirement in the tender to provide this local content. So I think the car body was a Asian project, a joint project. The car body came from China. We had a local partner for the assembly, and some key components come from Germany, but also local as much as can be provided locally. And Thailand has also very good local products for the car industry. They can also be developed for the railway industry. So this one is a very good example, and it shows it can be done.
Yeah, a good example, but unfortunately, it is not an example in Thailand, right?
So we have to work on that one.
Yeah, right. This is the thing that we have to work on. Okay, thank
Not
you very
yet.
much.
Not yet.
Not yet. Mr. Basharat, please do answers for the second question.
Yeah, right. I think of course, for traveler views, because of course, we are not planning to produce those bearing in the countries. What we can do, we think this is the best, because we have a knowledge on the bearings and know-how knowledge that we have. So we're focusing on the know-how transfers, focusing on the trainings. I attached several photos, pictures that we have been doing this one continuously in the past few years, because we see that our roles in this technology transfer or knowledge transfer is focused on the know-how and knowledge. How can we actually bring our knowledge and expertise into the local teams? We have the knowledge back in headquarters, but then we have a local Thai well-trained teams, people, technicians, engineers that can actually specialize and focus on the trainings on vibration analysis, on the bearings analysis. How can we actually help and analyze, diagnose the problem that we may face, balancing or their rotating machines, wheel bearings, and also the next one is also reconditions with the local partners that we have, and all you guys that in this kind of a larger picture on the system wise, we are actually willing and continue to work and supporting this what they call collaborations, exchanging in technical knowledge, and what is the new technology we can bring into the tables and share, if that be the useful or enhanced in terms of system-wide, we can actually increase in productivities and safety of their rail system in Thailand. We'll do, and then please let us know. We will continue to really work with the team here. I think that's my takes on second questions. Thank you, Dr. Nisai.
Yeah, seems that Chevrolet have done so far the technological transfer in the form of training and knowledge for I think mainly on the maintenance activities, right? For the railways operation.
Correct, maintenance and also troubleshootings and including the enhancement. If we find a solution to improve the existing system, we will ensure we offer.
Yeah. Thank you very much. Let us proceed to the last question. Yeah. So maybe this question is a broad discussion. Yeah? After we have discussed all of examples, groundworks of information, talk about possible things that can be done. So then the last question is, are there other beneficial measures such as fostering multicultural understanding, local HR development, governmental support, or even policy making, or etc.? Anything that could help or contributes to develop the collaboration? Please, let us start with Mr. Nakorn again.
Thank you, Dr. Nisai. Dr. Nisai,
I have listed all projects on the slide.
Can you hear me?
Yes, I have listed all projects that you mentioned on the slides.
Yeah. Dr. Nisai, the word political support is quite sensitive. Anything concerning political is quite sensitive, but I cannot avoid talking about political. I would like to say that as I mentioned to you that I have been involved in a lot of cooperation project with Germany, but only a few of these projects have been realized. The main reason is because of the way SRT has been organized. I mean, the organization of SRT is still very old-fashioned. It's still like military organization going by function and order, not the customer oriented. So what I was trying to do is try to propose the reorganization of SRT in 1997, and it's almost 30 years past, but without much success. One thing was the outcome of this proposal is the establishment of the railway department in 1914, which is part of my proposal for railway restructuring. What I mean by railway restructuring is to do the railway in the same manner as the road. If we cannot get out of if we cannot go with this, I believe that it's very difficult for SRT to improve the service quality. What I mean by do the railway in the same manner is the road is first to separate the infrastructure from train service. That's one thing. The other thing is to deregulate the service market. We are still, even though I got the cabinet approval about the restructuring of SRT since 1977, there has been not much progress. And one limitation is that we have a very limited infrastructure because almost 60 years after the first year deficit that the government stopped invest on SRT infrastructure. And just after we made the proposal about the separation of infrastructure from service, that government realized that it's a duty of the government to improve the infrastructure. That is why you have heard the permanent secretary said a lot of infrastructure project this morning. So I have been out for many years, but in order not to let everything gone with me, I'm now trying to review what I have done and what the other country is doing. I am now on Sweden, which is very interesting. It is claimed that it's the first country to adopt the separation of infrastructure from service. Fortunately, that German case will be the next on my revision paper. Thank you very much.
Yeah, thank you very much for this very, let's say, progressive suggestion. May I remind you that Mr. Nakorn was himself the governor of the State Railway of Thailand. Yeah, so all of the suggestions or comments here is of course very sincere and just like the person who would like to see his own organization develop further. And it is a kind of bird eye views opinion because it comes from the top, yeah, see from the very root of the problems, how to manage the infrastructure in Thailand, yeah, by separating the infrastructure from the operation. So I think this could be a small voice which can be heard and can be absorbed and processed later. Thank you very much, Mr. Nakorn. I think this is a very brave suggestion here. So switch to Mr. Watcharachan, please, to answer this question. Mr. Nakorn has treated quickly to the point of policy making now. Yeah, please, Mr. Watcharachan.
Yes, I don't have the slide, but I would like to touch only 2 points, which is about the local HR development, and the second point is about the government support. Based on my experience, the local HR development in SRT during my working time, I have seen the GTZ project that have helped SRT, I think about 5 years project to enhance the efficiency and training and maintenance capability, etc. in the Makassar workshop at that time. Maybe, and the second one is the JICA project, and Nakorn is the head of the JICA project for the 5-year, 7-year for the training center, SRT Training Technical Center at that time. So there has been a few projects that foreign country like Japan or Germany have involved in cooperation in developing the human resource in the railway sector. In the past, it's a pro and con, success and fail because of so and so. I don't want to mention it right now, but I would like to touch upon that. Just this month, as many of you may know, that the Ministry of Transport just established the Railway Research and Technology Development Institute, and the Royal Decree or Royal Gazette just issued within this month. So this institution is mainly one of the research and development in the railway industry. So that may involve many supplier, manufacturer, institution, academic institution. I think they should welcome to join hand in hand in this. Especially the German university or special school or manufacturer should have a chance to involve in this institution. So that will bring, I think that will bring for the betterment of the HR, local HR development in Thailand in the future. And for the second point is about the government support. As I mentioned, I have involved in the project for the the GTZ, KFW project, the JICA project, and also currently is the Red Line project. So I have seen the one key success factor is that we need to have a strong government to government or G2G cooperation is on the top level, not in the bottom level. But if you can make understanding and cooperate and find a solution up to the G2G level, so the project will come to a fruitful implementation in the future. Then lastly, I hope that this German-Thai Railway Association will act like a coupler, the railway coupler, the rolling stock coupler, to bring the right product and service from Germany to Thailand. Okay, thank you. That's the end of my third comment.
Thank you very much, Mr. Watcharachan, for your very creative metaphor. the coupler of the railways. Since we are working on railways, there is no better metaphor for that. That GTRA will serve as this coupling. So, so I will proceed to Mr. Georg Wolff to answering these questions. You see that the former, let's say the previous speakers, they touch maybe some aspects, but very sharp. But now this your
you know, I'm very happy about I heard now. But you know, I'm a guest of Thailand. I love to live in Thailand. I'm making business here since 30 years. I live in Thailand since 10 years. So I'm not able to make any comments about politics. I mean, we as a European Chamber of Commerce can make just suggestions, and we listen, and we see what's going on. There is a big difference in the culture between Thai people, Western and especially German people. And I have seen that when Thai young people are coming into contact with Germany, and maybe they have a exchange, academic exchange possibility, or they have the possibility to live some months at least in Europe, then they see the difference, and then they can select some quality, some behavior, some part of the culture to take over and make a perfect mixture out of it. So in Thailand, we have a lot of opportunities to get in touch with this Western culture. And I listed it here at this slide. And, you know, it is about, for example, organization or about responsibilities, about setting priorities, you know. So when the young people learn a little bit how this is handled in Germany, that would be a really treasure for a future development, yes. So we can also be very happy today. We have the possibilities of the internet. That makes it much more easy to make this exchange of culture and knowledge. Yeah, that's what I wanted to say. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you very much. But let's say, multicultural understanding is a key point, right? That if we understand each other, so we can collaborate. Yeah. Okay,
exactly.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Mr. Mazur and Mr. Rosocha, please. Answers for these questions, please.
I believe it's not so much to add, interesting wise, because everything was said. Before Armin will tell some example, which I believe are good example to say how which measures are really beneficial based on the reference. I want only to add. First of all, I'm not talking about politics, about authorities support. Thailand authorities have done a lot. But you know, if you talk about all the countries, also in Germany, it's never enough. It's never enough because we have always the drive to do more to support. And remember our first slides, which have shown, and this is every way they want the same. Without policy makers, which is the government, and this is not Thailand specific, is in each and every country is the same. People or industry will do what they want, and especially human. To bring people out of the cars to the way, to the public transport requires policies, and everybody would follow. First industry, and then of course all the users. That's the one. Second topic, what Mr. Wolff said. People traveling to Germany, learning from German and changing the behavior. I would say also the German people learn a lot from Thai people, especially about behavior. A lot of my German colleagues say to me, "Oh, we are so strange sometimes. We have to learn from our Thai colleagues how to behave." As I believe is this benefits both, and this exchange has to be done. HR development, here development of expertise of our talents in Thailand is very important. In this sense, I would like Armin to lead us through some example how we have done in Thailand and what can be done more. Please, Armin.
Thank you, Tomasz. And just to continue with some examples, but first let me say we are considered a German company, but actually, if you look our staffing, I mean, we are a local company, first of all, limited, Thailand, and our staff is 98% Thai. So this shows how we have developed. I mean, we started our business 24 years ago in the BTS Skytrain project. We built up there the operation of our customer. BTS have never done operation before. We built up our maintenance team. Same with BEM for the Blue Line. We built up the operation team. They have never done an operation before, and our maintenance team. And now our customers also taking over maintenance. I mean, operation, but they also go now into maintenance, doing this by themselves. And this is, I think, a progress where we see that was a very successful HR development. And if I look over the years, I think we must have trained 3,000, 4,000, 5,000, I cannot count, people. And it's really amazing if we have a new project coming up. On the other side of customer authorities, we can see former Siemens guys. And this is how we have, developed the experts here in Thailand. And we are also in our daily life. I mean, we are training our staff. I think average training per staff is 8-9 trainings for every staff per year. So that shows we are putting a lot of attention. And we have also this cooperation, which you have heard already. There's a dual education program, which we are supporting here in Thailand, where we train around 20 students from Tanyaburi, we have had a cooperation, Supanburi Technical College, training in our organization, going through the different section, learning the technology, the maintenance, and then also starting then hopefully the maintenance work later on when they finished with Siemens. We are supporting here the programs GTRA, the universities, but as Tomasz mentioned, of course, technology transfer, we are ready. We want to do this also in the term of manufacturing assembly. If there's a project coming up, I think this is where we are also available as a partner for a local company to bring this technology to Thailand. Especially also if you look at the big change maybe in the Thai railways for the electrification project, which I guess will come up. So it's just a question of time to change from diesel to very efficient electric locomotives. So we are very interested to build this HR development also in this field. No?
Yeah, thank you for some examples that Siemens have been carried out for supporting the collaboration. So then I switch to Mr. Pachalak, please. The answers for the third questions.
Hello again. I think you see in terms of multiculturals, as Mr. Wolff was saying, I totally agree. I think this is quite important to basically understand each other's. Sometimes we can't say that it's anything good, anything bad. It's just a difference. We just need to understand each other's to ensure that we are fully understand each other's, the way it behave and the way people make decisions. Okay, but anyway, I'm Thai. I'm working in German's company. Of course, we need to be aware of that difference and ensure that the teams are also reflecting. We understand that in industrial team in Thailand, we 100% Thai. Of course, we have to connect back into the headquarters in terms of communications. Okay. But in terms of local HRs, okay, I have been talking a lot in terms of coordinations or trainings or exchange in knowledge between the private sectors, like you see, Siemens. We also have a collaborations with varieties of university. Okay, we have a partner with TGS. We also have a partners with Ratchamangala University Technology Isan in Nakorn Ratchasima on the rail system departments. Focusly on creating the training course, from the student side, from the university. So this is to understand that we actually want to be part of groomings or preparing the local talents into the railway system within Thailand, because that we have a lot of projects coming up in the Northeast, and also in the connecting the 3 airports in Uttarpal downwards. Okay, very soon we will need to be crunching for talent resource based on those rail system. So we have been signing MOU with those university. We also will be signing the MOU with Burapha University in Chonburi later on in the years is regarding the automation parts to create some course and trainings on automations, including the Industrial 4 part of the course will be part on the rail systems. I think then the student university that then we have a local talents that have some knowledge in or interest about the future's business is going to happen near their home, near their hometown, right? When we are producing this one. So I think we will continue and work in that direction. We got full support from our management. This is the right thing to do, because it's helping the countries, it's helping the communities, it's helping the business, and overall that we will continue to ensure that the business grow, the projects grow. We have a people that will work on those projects. Anyway, thank you very much.
Yeah, it seems that Mr. Bashar mentions about multicultural understanding by supporting HR development. Mr. Mashak should have a lot of experience of training young people, right? Because young people now is quite issue in the Thailand political landscape, yeah? Because understanding between young generations and older generations is still topics. And this also include the multicultural understanding. Cultural and age difference would be thing that we have to deal with in a couple of years in the future.
Dr. Nisai,
Yeah, please.
with your permission, I want to make a small correction because this seminar is going to be recorded. I said the railway department was established 1914. That was mistake. It should be 2014. Thank you.
2014. Yeah, for the record, yeah, because this seminar or this webinar will be recorded. So we have completed the, let's say, official plan 3 questions. We still have some, let's say, 5 to 10 minutes to wrap up, and it's a open floor for all speakers to touch the remaining things that you feel that still would like to touch. And before I wrap up everything, yeah, I look into the Q&A session and have found no one's raised discussion issues. So one thing that I would like to bring into discussion is that collaborations comes from, let's say, if we derive the collaborations. Before we go to the collaborations, we have to go back to the trust. We will not collaborate if we don't have trust to each other. And if we don't trust each other because we don't understand the others. Yeah. So these 3 steps of working, or let's say the 3 steps of relationship, starting from understanding, trust, and collaboration. I think the word trust is still somehow missing. Yeah. So I would point out or raise the discussion point that in order to reach the trust level that we could collaborate, I think there must be mechanism like working together for a long time. There must be supporting activities so that people get acquaintance, know each other, and work together and gain trust to each other. Yeah. So I give the floor to discuss on this point, and also you can discuss on the topics remaining in your mind. Yeah, please. Is there anyone who would like to start first? Yeah. To touch the remaining points that you would like to mention, or to complete, or to correct, or to wrap up again. If not, so Mr. Mazur, are you still there, Mr. Mazur?
I'm still there.
Yeah.
Sorry, I could not hear you.
Yeah, Mr. Mazur, do you hear me? Yeah, I just would like to emphasize on your comments about the projects or work together. Yeah, we need projects, or we need the initial collaborations, or let's say support to work together. I think in order to gain the trust to initiate the projects, there could be some mechanism, right, in order to establish the trust from both parties. What do you think about this? Could you give any comment? How could we gain the trust from both parties? Let's say both Thai partners and German partners. You must have been experienced that thing before. Yeah, please.
First of all, to the projects, I believe we need to be more creative, and I think there are several industrial related projects where we can utilize those projects. First of all, I believe that the easiest way is where the German industry is involved in a respective project to share those projects, invite Thai universities, Thai partner in collaboration with GTRA to be a part, to utilize this project like a vehicle of collaboration, because this is the practical one. Otherwise, we will be continuing web seminars and our meetings, which are very useful, but we need to come to the practical part. That means we need to create project. But the question how to do it, first of all, the commitment of the industry to allow to universities and others to join. Second, also on the Thai side, just to think about how to create such kind of project, independent of industrial approach. I believe it is the challenge for all of us, and we need to be more creative in enhancing this kind of collaboration. But I'm talking about real practical way of doing. And Siemens is of course willing to share, to support as much as possible. But I believe everyone belongs to this world, and let's discuss the subject separately. We need projects, definitely.
Yeah, thank you very much. Before I wrap up, is there anything to be mentioned by the other speakers, please?
Dr. Nisai, please, I have some comments.
Yeah, please.
I am Mongkon Konghiran from King Mongkut University of Technology, Thonburi. I would like to share some support from Siemens last maybe couple of years. This is, I think, is a good example. Support from Siemens. We have a software Track from Siemens, and I think that time 2 or 3 years ago, Mr. Martin came to Thailand to train us how to use the software. It's a kind of the railway electrification simulation software that is very useful for my department, because I'm from the electrical engineering, and we have been taking that software to teach and trying to make use that software for the research. Even now, we try to use it every year in our railway electrification course. We got the expert engineer, senior engineer from Siemens, come to university, my department, to teach. This is very nice, and we opening railway electrification and railway signaling and control. So both two courses we got supported by Siemens, by sending the senior engineer to teach every year. And I think I would like to thank Siemens. That is very useful for my students, and I will promise you to make use your software as much as possible. In the future, we're gonna have a new faculty member who sent to the Germany. I think new in the future, we're gonna have a 3 faculty member graduate from a Germany university come to my department, and all of them will focus on the railway industry. So I think I would like to thank for, I think it's a starting point for my department. So I would like to send some gratitude to Siemens, and it's very very nice to have Siemens software to my department. That's all for my comment.
Yeah, thank you very much, Dr. Mongkon. Dr. Mongkon is a good friend of mine, let's say professional colleagues, and he's working on the railway field as well. Yeah. The comments from Dr. Mongkon is good evidence that the practical projects are there. Yeah? There have been some collaborations between Thai and German running before, and many of Thai people like Dr. Mongkon and KUT Thonburi has appreciated the contributions or the cooperations, and we would like to, let's say, expect more and more the growth of these collaboration. Is there anything comments? Is there any further comments from the speakers before I wrap up? Yeah,
do you still have time?
Not longer than 5 minutes, please.
Okay, not even not that long. I just want to talk about standard, because if we talk about railway in Thailand now, you hear a lot of standard. And I feel that we are falling into the bucket of information about standard. So I would like to the people concerned to make it clear on what it means by standards. To my opinion, there are two goals for establishing the standard. The first is the objective of having the standard. So this should concern the safety. So as long as you produce the product conform to standard, it will guarantee safety because standard is already proved in the laboratory and so on. The other objective is the operability of the system. For example, I mentioned about the brake system, the signaling system, and so on. So we have to have standard to ensure operability of the system. The other thing is the interchangeability. As the railway organization, we may look at the interchangeability of the part. We cannot just keep buying the product which is different, and we have to stock so different kind of spare part, which is very costly. The other is I sorry to say is that it's a kind of create the trading barrier among the manufacturer themselves. So this is one thing which is behind the curtain. So I would like somebody to make it clear about the objective of standard. And on the other side is the people who concerned with the standard, the group of stakeholders. For example, if I am the engineer working for the railway, I will look at the operability standard, interchangeability of standard, etc. But if I'm manufacturer, I will be concerned with the manufacturing standard. If I were the laboratory to certify the product, I should know the standard which the customer specify and the standard, the way to test and so on. So I think we should make it clear about this. Otherwise, as I said, there will be full of a standard around, and we do not know what to do with it. Thank you very much.
Yeah, may I just say a short word? I learned in some cases here for the civil engineering, for the structure, even the tender was written in a way that the contractor can choose the standard he is using. And I think this is not such a good idea. So the authority has to select which standard to follow, and may not allow to make a deviation from that path.
Dr.
Yeah, all right. Yeah, I'm there.
Maybe have a couple minutes for some question I have.
Yeah, please.
My name is Paripat. Okay. My name is Paripat. I have various capacity. One of this capacity is the electrical engineers. I'm advisor to a number of committees in the country, including some at EABC. I'm very much in place of the explanation of our German colleague regarding the localization, the projects which should be created. And my question is, compared to Germany, where you have a different side of project, a different side of system. For example, the regional train. My question is, would it be feasible, or would it be investment perspective attractive enough to have the public transportation at the big city like Chiang Mai, Phuket, Nakorn, where we have a different decision-making mechanism than SRT. Again, the question is to the German colleague is, would it be feasible on your view, or would it be attractive enough to invest in the big cities like Chiang Mai, Phuket, Nakorn, for public transportation? That is question number one. Number two is, what is the investment scale to make it attractive? What is the technical requirement which are different than the system in the central Bangkok? Thank you.
Yeah, quite a broad questions. Is there any, let's say, speakers here could help me out for answering this question? Actually, they all can answer. Yeah.
Dr. Desai, I can try to help. First of all, if you look at for the perspective of the manufacturers today in the world, it's not only Siemens. I might talk on behalf of other manufacturers as well, because the pattern is similar. Probably a little different by Chinese, because this is the different methodology what the Chinese use, but in the Western manufacturers, the market is large, but with today nowadays all manufacturers are suffering with the overcapacities they do have. Simple as it is, there are many manufacturing spots, and you see what is happening today in the world, railway world. If you can see, Alstom has taken over Bombardier. They have many manufacturing spots of rolling stock, and they can simply not utilize those manufacturing spots. They have to define which spots make sense from economical perspective, because they have to load the factories, which spot makes sense in terms of technological aspects, which spots make sense in terms also of the cost position, because some location bring better cost position, taxation, and so on and so on. What does it mean in terms of localization in different other countries? Can you imagine, around of the world, all the countries want to localize the project. It is simply not possible that those manufacturers go to each and every country and localize. It is not possible. But what is possible, and this is really done in many countries in the world, is enhancing the local entrepreneurs to invest in the supplying industry. Look at today in automotive industry, what is done, but also in the railway industry, where the supplying industry is given. For example, today Thailand, and I don't know if you all know it, there are some parts for the railway industry coming from Thailand, interesting wise. Also for automotive industry, for example, seats are produced in Thailand and export worldwide. Now, Thailand was able to develop, but probably based on very strong demand on the automotive industry, which is much more easy because it's end user related, not as railway, which is really operator related. But now, if you take this second question to you, in the cities, let's say municipal authorities, where they want to develop the local transport, like tram, like e-buses, as well, let's stay maybe by railway, a light rail. And this is possible with small fleet to for the local entrepreneurs to invest, but having the future to supply that kind of railway systems elsewhere. For example, Konkan has started this approach. They have enhanced discussion with many potential suppliers, also with Siemens, and there were exchanges about these know-how transfer, licenses, enabling manufacturing. For example, Konkan entrepreneurs were in Vienna, were in Germany, were also experts from Germany, were in Konkan to review manufacturing capabilities, advising, and there were investment discussion, there were calculations, there were also exchanging first memorandum of understanding of the license transfer, and again, manufacturer will not invest in Thailand in this scheme because it has overcapacity worldwide, but will support the local entrepreneurs to make it happen. An example would be Konkan. It can happen also in Chiang Mai, can happen in Phuket, elsewhere, but These local entrepreneurs are required. Similar as it is done, for example, by Italian Thai. Italian Thai has shown it is possible.
Yeah, thank you very much, Mr. Mazur. You have helped me very well out of this question. Is there anything to be added by other experts? Because it should be an interesting question.
Can I share?
Definitely, yeah, please.
Yeah, I think the question is about public transport, which is very weak in the perspective of the policy side. Sorry to say this, because as I said, anything about policy, about politics is quite sensitive. But it's fact that public transport is quite a weak perspective in our policy term, because if you look at the paper anywhere in the world, what they're trying to overcome the problem in transportation, the global warming and so on, is that they try to adopt the public transport as the main system of the country, and within that public transport, they would like they will have the rail as the backbone of the system. This has been written quite clear in our policy paper, but the way it is implemented is different. So since I have been sitting in the EIA committee, I have seen all these projects. I have seen the rail project, the road project, and so on. And I think the way we are implementing the project is quite a different way we want to achieve what was written in the policy paper. So I think this could be helped by the knowledgeable people like the university and so on. So I think this is very important but sensitive issue to have the public transport as the backbone of the system. Thank you very much.
Yeah, thank you very much. Yeah, we have answered the questions, and sorry for having quite limited time. It is a very great occasion to have gathering of experts who can answer almost every aspect of railways field in Thailand. That's the reason why I allow some time to be overdrawn here. But of course, I don't want to overdraw the time so that it will violate your lunchtime, bother your lunchtime. So then please allow me to wrap up the talk. Yeah, actually, the talk of roughly 1.5 hours could not include everything, could not treat everything which is still missing. But I believe that the talk today is a starting point that we can see the strong will and sheer intention and sincerity for both sides to work together. The presence of Mr. Georg Schmidt, the German ambassador, and Mr. Chayatan Phromsorn, the permanent secretary of Ministry of Transport, is very clear. Is a clear evidence that there are strong intention from both sides, even on the governmental levels, that we would like to work together. Yeah, besides, let's say, political alignment or whatever, but both countries would like to work together. And GTRA, the German Thai Railway Association, will try to be, as Mr. Watcharachan mentioned, to be the coupler of the train to link both sides together, try to contribute, try to matchmaking both sides together. We get to know GTRA today, and we have seen from these activities today, and we see the chance how could we cooperate and develop the activities together. So thank you very much, and I would like, on behalf of GTRA, I would like to wrap up and close the GTRA talk session. And thank you very much for all speakers who give opinions and sparkling ideas how to collaborate in the future. Thank you very much. Yeah.
Thank you.
So now I would like to hand over the session to Professor Bunchai, to talk about the presentation of German-Thai technology transfer activities. Now, Dr. Bunchai, you are there, right?
Okay. Yes.
Yeah. Good morning. So I leave the stage to you, please.
Okay. Good morning, everyone. Next slide, please. My name is Bunchai Sangphet Ngam from Faculty of Engineering, Chulalongkorn University. Today we have story updates session on German-Thai technological transfer activity. We have two short story updates. The first one is introduction of a translated German technical textbooks, and then the other one will be an update on railway vehicle infrastructure engineering program, which is the joint degree program between the Chulalongkorn University and King Mongkut University of Technology, TGGS. So let's move on the first topic on introduction of the translation. Well, we can say this is probably the first time that GTRA want to introduce in the series of translation of German books. As everyone knows that in railway technology, we can find only not so many textbooks in the market right now. And most of them are actually in English language. Well, there are quite even a few textbooks written by German or related to German technology. And don't get me wrong, actually in Germany, there are a lot of textbooks, but they are in German language. So yes, today we have the first translation of German textbook into Thai language. And the title of the book is Schienenfahrzeug Technik written by Joachim Ime. And into Thai version is called วิศวกรรมระบบราง Okay. And today we have the honor from the Thai translation teams. And next slide, please. I would like to introduce some of the translation teams, editors today. Next slide, please. Actually, the whole team, they have Ajahn Baleng Sonin as a team leader on translation, and including Dr. Nisai and Dr. Somnuk, Dr. Montha, Dr. Kampana, Dr. Chayatan, and the guest from Apichet from Chotavi Dolatians. I think we have some short announcement from Dr. Baleng, right, Ajahn Nisai, that we want to share. We can start from Dr. Baleng. Introduction, please.
Your Excellency Georg Schmidt, German Ambassador to Thailand, dear all participants in the seminar, to support the Thai-German cooperation in railway technology development in Thailand, myself and 6 colleagues who have studied engineering in Germany have been translating a German book called Schienenfahrzeug Technik, or Railway Vehicle Technology. King Mongkut University of Technology, North Bangkok, has bought the license of this book from Springer Publication Company in Germany in order to translate it into Thai language and disseminate the knowledge to Thai engineers and students in this field. The content of the book covers all aspects of railway vehicle, ranging from design and structure of vehicles, calculation of resistance and power transmission, brake system, and production processes. I hope that this book would boost the capability of Thai engineers, technicians, and companies working on maintenance of and repairs of vehicles. I wish to see Thailand can produce some part or even wagon with a technical support from a German company or in terms of joint venture company in Thailand. This is an information for this seminar. Thank you for your attention.
Okay, thank you. Besides Ajahn Nisai, who is one of the translation team, in this session, we actually have another two translator teams. Let me introduce Dr. Kampanat and Dr. Chayatan, who will go deeper in detail about the layout chapters of the translation books and share you some of the interesting points in the books. Ajahn Chayatan, please.
All right, so thank you very much. But I think maybe I would rather now pass the microphone to Dr. Kampanat first to give us the overview of the book, if we are ready. So Dr. Kampanat, please.
So okay. Please next slide, please. So that as you can see that we have to bought the license, official license from the Springer Verlag, and we do it just like one by one with our expert knowledge from our team. And you can see that the student or people who are interested in railway engineering will have more detail in engineering technical in each chapter, starting from chapter 1 to chapter 7, that very, how to say, compact information and very effective information. So next slide, please. So here, every chapter will go in the detail, especially the main point of the concept for each system or each component, even the engineering technique that used to produce the train is also available in chapter 7. And you can see in chapter 6 is also talking about some structure of the car body, and chapter 5 is focusing on the bogie of the train, not only for the train but also for the tram. Okay, so that is about some content about this book, Dr. Bunchai.
Dr. Chayatan, do you want to add something?
Yes, definitely. So again, it is my pleasure to join this team and be able to contribute thanks to GTRA. I had a look at this book a while back, and I think it is a very good starting point for those who want to know about the engineering aspects of the railway technologies, especially engineers or technicians, right? It starts out with a very good introduction from the author of the book. Professor Imel said that actually the engineering studies in Germany for railway is kind of getting less popularities in the last decades. Yeah, so young generations are focusing somewhere else. That's why he wrote this book. And as you can see that in Thailand, we are starting to use the railway more and more. We might be able to use this book to getting started and to extend our knowledge to the next level. And I pretty much like the layout of the book, that it starts by explaining all the critical, let's say, aspect of the train. The first chapter starts by discussing about the drag. When you have a vehicle running at high speed, you have the drag coming, right, from the wind, from the air. And then the next chapter, he talks about how to drive the train through that drag. And then it goes on to how to design the structure of the train, the ride comfort, and the production of that train, and even some aspect of how to control the production quality and services. Yeah, so it's not in depth, but it's a good book that gives you the overview of railway engineering. And I hope that we get you started if you're interested, so we can dig deeper into each of the topics later on. And to bridge this now, maybe to the next activity, I think having a good book on engineering topic is very helpful. Yeah, but as some of the speakers today mentioned that the experience when you do the transfer of knowledge, the experience and correct understanding is very important. And I would like to cross over right now, or unless there's someone here in the translate team who want to add something about the book. Otherwise, I want to move to the next topic about the study program.
I have some question, Dr. Chayatan.
Yes, please.
Thank you, Dr. Chayatan and Dr. Kampanat. It seems this book is very interesting, and I think from my myself experience, I think this is a blend of diversity in the way engineering and also some deeper in technical knowledge. And this is probably get very good attention from Thai engineers and students who are involved in railway engineering and also faculty members. Ajahn Kampanat, can you share some of the information on how can we get this book? Is it available in PDF, in e-public, or in hard copy only?
Okay, so for this book, at this time we have to do as one version in hard copy version only, so that people who are interested in this book can buy this book at KMUTNB publisher. But unfortunately, that at this moment the university is closed because of the pandemic of the virus. So, but if the KMUTNB come to reopen again, so maybe we can share this information by GTRA Facebook or something that we can communicate with you. Yep. And the price of this book is only 300 baht, and maybe discount 10%.
Oh,
yes.
It's very cheap.
Yes.
Do you plan to have another books or more books translation in Thai?
Oh, yes.
In the future?
Very lucky that yesterday, please go to the next slide, please. So yesterday we just got the official contract, a license translation contract from the Springer Verlag, and our KMUTNB president, Professor Richard, has already signed in the contract, and we are officially announced that the next translation book from German to Thai is about the high-speed train. And in this book, we will use the same team from the previous book in order to translate this one. So this is in the future plan for the next textbook translation. Thank you.
Wow, it seems the GTRA probably want to recruit more translation teams, maybe from Thai or from Germans who have spare time to do some translation. Okay, the next
Dr.
topic.
Punchai,
Yes, please.
may I add some opinion in that particular issue, please? Just a couple of minutes. Thank you very much. So I would like to first thank you, the whole team, for this contribution, because it's very important for Thai student or for Thai business operator to access to that useful information. So thank you very much. I would like to give some information on that regard. I studied electrical train in Germany 30 years ago. So long before the project implemented in Thailand. So after graduated from Chulalongkorn University, I went to TU Berlin and studied there for many years. So then I come back to Thailand and work for private sectors and for state-owned enterprise. So my suggestion is the knowledge from Germany can be divided in 3 categories. Number one, some kind of knowledge for research. So Sprinklers is one of those publishers who provide the information on the research levels. Number two, the category number 2 is some kind of hand-on engineering. So most of the good stuff came from manufacturers. Siemens, EABC, and others manufacturers, they have their own publishers. And from time to time, they issue handbooks or reference, which is very practical oriented. So this is very important to for us, for Thai student, Thai business operator, to access to those hand-on information. Luckily, those manufacturers provide information in English as well. And the last one is very much hands-on. Those information is provided for some kind of the so-called Meister, the expert. So there will be not much mathematical equation. There will be a lot of pictures. There will be a lot of instruction. So I think the German knowledge body consists of 3 particular parts. Very hands-on, without any calculation, just instruction to do the real work. Then some calculation, some for design and for verify those some engineering principle. And the last one is for research, a lot of mathematics and so on. Those 3 components is very important. And I would very much appreciate if the teams for the next translation provide us those kind of knowledge. But again, thank you very much to the whole team. I think it's very great contribution to Thai society. Thank you very much.
Oh, thank you, Khun Paripat, for sharing your knowledge and experience. Let me move on to the last but not least topics, which is the introduction on joint degree program. Next slide, please. At Chulalongkorn University and King Mongkut University Technology of North Bangkok, or TGGS, we have about 3 years ago, if I'm not wrong, about 3 years ago, we have initiated the joint degree program between the 2 universities in railway engineering. Is called, the title of the program is called Railway Vehicles and Infrastructure Engineering, or the nickname is RV, shorter name. This is a master degree in engineering program offered by the 2 universities. That means if any student who can graduate from this program, they will receive a degree that stamped by both university, KMUT, NB, and CU. Initiation of this program is from 3 years ago, is initiated by the Deans of Faculty of Engineering, TGGS, and the Deans of Faculty of Engineering, Chulalongkorn University, Ajahn Supot and Ajahn Monpilai were the one who initiated the program, and a lot of team member who makes this program become real is actually in this session as well, and including Achan Nisai, who facilitate the program on up and running on the present. And I would like to share some of the updates on this program. Right now, we have about 13 or 14 students, right? Ajahn Kampanat and Ajahn Chayatan.
So I think Chayatan have
You can
prepared
say,
some information
yeah,
for
you can
this.
say that, yeah, roughly we have about 10 students right now, including the new ones coming.
Yes,
So,
and this year it was the second official years that we opened the program officially, and actually the program is about in two disciplines. The first one is in railway vehicles engineering, and then the other one is railway infrastructure engineering. And students who enroll into the program can choose whether they want to go in railway vehicles engineering or railway infrastructure engineering. But all of them are required to take about I think 8 or 9 subjects in Thailand on the first year, and on the second year they will be sent to Germany in RWTH Aachen University of Technology and study about 6 or 7 subjects more at Aachen, and then after 2 years completion, they have the option to do thesis and engineering practice. Each of them take 1 semester. So it's totally they have 3 years program, and they will get the degree, and actually they will get the opportunity to do the exchange at Aachen University, and also they can have the option to do engineering practice if they want at Germany. They can, if they want, they can do it in Thailand as well. So this is quite a new concept of master degree engineering in Thailand, but it's probably not quite new in Germany, because this is quite the way German university take the degree or the academic, that they want to blend between academic and the real practice together. Ajahn Kampanat and Ajahn Chayatan, do you want to add something on the RV programs?
Yes, just a little bit. Maybe if you can go back to the previous slide just shortly. And in the previous slide, I just want to point out the relation of what we are doing here. As of now, we are in a circle of GTRA, right? Can we move back 1 slide back? Right. Okay. As you can see here in the picture, if you see there are 3 boxes, right? And the box on the left is called the GTRP, and right now we can say that this is us here, GTRA, this circle of academics, industry, and even government organizations. Yeah, and these are coming from 2 countries. And like Dr. Bunchai mentioned earlier, that we started this program about 3 years ago, actually about 3 years ago. And at the time, we were looking at the technological transfer. We looked into the available curriculums in Thailand, and we saw these possibilities to add to the palette a curriculum that is focusing on the engineering aspect of the railway technologies, right? And that's, we are looking into the vehicle technologies and also the infrastructure technologies. And we saw this opportunity coming because Chulalongkorn University has been in this team in GTRP since that day, as well as Schmidt NB. So we formulate this curriculum together. And it is the first attempt from GTRA, of course, and we're focusing on these two aspects. Like I said before, vehicles, which is the main, let's say, expertise from KMUTNB, and infrastructure engineering, which is the main expertise from CU, right? And this has become the foundation of the RV program. And now you can follow the arrow into the lower right picture, where you see that we blended here as well. The lectures are coming, let's say, mostly from the university professors from KMUTNB and Chulalongkorn. But the new concept that has been inserted into this program is that we can go up to 50% of the course time, that we can invite industry experts or even German professors to give lectures into this program. Yeah, so we can think about up to maximum half of the time, the students can be exposed to the practical knowledge or example or training sessions to enhance the experience, not only just technical knowledge of the subject. And once they are done from the program, they would contribute back to Thailand, of course, or even Germany. They could join the government organizations, they could join industry, or they can do some other things. And hopefully one day they could contribute back to GTRA, and that again would contribute back to the program in this way, that they can come back and teach the future batch of students with their new expertise or knowledge that they learn from the industry. So with that, we create this picture here for the curriculum. And just to add some information about the curriculum, if we can go to the next slide. Yes, here we made this big poster, and thanks to my colleague, Dr. Alex Bressing, he made this very beautifully, just like small train stations along the track, right? And the point that I want to point out is that, like Dr. Bunchai mentioned, the second year, students will get to learn all these courses in Germany, in Aachen, right? And that is, again, not just the technical knowledge, but also what many speakers today mentioned. You get to experience railway first-handed in the country. Germany has been using railway for many, many years already, yeah? much longer than Thailand. You can say that the first thing you arrive in Germany, you get out of the airport. I can say that most of you would have to get on the train to go to the next place, like to the city, to your hotel or whatsoever, right? It has been well integrated for a long time. And simply to experience that for 1 year when you start in this program would open your understanding of how railway could influence your life, the society, in that social perspective, and not just from the engineering perspective. Yeah. So and I think that is the very important part for this curriculum as well, that you get to be in Germany for 1 year to explore that experience in Germany and also in Europe, how train operates and work, and how it helps to nurture the nation in many ways. Yeah. So yeah, I think that would be my additional comments to the RV program. And thank you again, GTRP and GTRA members, to help making this program possible. And I want to let us think that this is just a beginning. Yeah. So Chulalongkorn University and KMUTNB has joined force to do this, but we have many other universities in GTRA as well. And we see that the possibilities to make another programs or even to contribute to this existing program is there. Yeah, so we would very much looking into, for instance, some subjects in this curriculum that can be co-taught by lecturers from other universities, especially for those who are already in GTRA. Yeah, that would enhance the collaboration, and we could strengthen this collaboration even more, and there could be even some more products in the future. Yeah, so thank you very much for the chance to let me be part of this. Thank you.
I want to also add something to the RV program, that we have to thank our sponsorship as well. Besides two university and Aachen University of Technology. Then we have to thanks to DAADs who provides some scholarships to the student as well for the traveling to Germany and stay there for 1 year. Achan and Kampanat, do you want to add something on our future plan to maybe do the double degree with the Aachen?
So at this point, I have no comment. Yeah, thank you at this point.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, I think that's all for update technology story updates session. I would like to hand the microphone to Ajahn Nisai.
Yeah. All right. Thank you very much, Ajahn Bunchai, for conducting and moderating the session of presentation of the technology transfer between Thai and German and Thai. We have overdrawn the time almost 1 hour, but I believe this 1 hour is highly valuable because we have we have gathered experts, we have gathered many people who are involving in railway engineering and railways field in Thailand. And this is the best occasion that we can share knowledge or opinions and we can connect together. Unfortunately, under this COVID-19 situation, we are not able to meet in person, but I believe at least we try our best to convey the networking possibility and the contribution of GTRA to boost up the cooperation between two countries. Yeah? And I hope that all of the participants today have benefit something and get benefits out of this event as much as possible. We, GTRA, will try our best to promote this collaboration between two countries as our major task. On behalf of GTRA, I would like to thank all of participants, all speakers, honorable guests, for contributing to this event. Thank you very much and goodbye and see you on the next activity of GTRA. And as a final remark, the video today will be broadcasted later on YouTube and you will be notified by the emails later on. Thank you very much.
ครับสวัสดีครับสวัสดีค
Thank
รั
you
บสวัสดีครับ
สวัสดีครับ
Thank you.
Bye bye.